Legislative business for the day began an hour behind the usual time schedule. First, a motion raised by the senator representing Taraba Central, Yusuf, on the over 6 trillion naira allegedly owed by individuals who purchased federal government property. Citing the Land Use Act, Senator Yusuf explains that ground rent is expected to be paid to the federal government when land or property is sold to individuals.
Back as 1992, when some of these houses were built and allocated to the beneficiaries, none has evidence of payment of ground rent on their property. Aware that federal government have built and allocated over 2 million houses across the 36 states.
Some lawmakers lent their support to the motion. They, however, expressed concern on who should receive the payments between the state and the federal government.
The mover of this motion brought us the Land Use Act, and it is clearly stated that rent is collectible even after the property is being sold.
I think that the federal government is supposed to have a computerized system where all such lands are located and in whose name. And I also believe that they should be able to know those who have not paid the money, not why they have not paid.
A 7-member ad hoc committee headed by Senator Adamu Alero was constituted and given 4 weeks to work alongside the Senate Standing Committee on Works to also look into the activities of the Presidential Committee on the Sales of Federal Government Property. The Senate also passed for third reading a bill to establish the Social Investment Program as an agency under the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs. The Senate President says the bill will support federal government's efforts to alleviate poverty in Nigeria.
Bill for an act to establish the National Social Investment Program Agency to assist and empower the poor and the vulnerable in Nigeria and for related matters 2023, third reading taken, and this bill is passed.
Senate also considered a bill for an act to amend the act establishing the Women Development Center for it to be named after Miriam Babangida, as well as revamp the functions of the agency. The request of the President for the approval of the appointment of 4 nominees as members of the board of the Universal Service Provision was referred to the Senate Committee on Communications to report back to plenary in 1 week's time. Georgina Ndukwezaika, Arise News.